Tell me when.
Okay, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Good? Yep.
So, Kennedy's Children.
Kennedy's Children is alternating monologues, musically structured, by 5 survivors of the 60s. One of them is an off-Broadway actor named Sparger, who may be the most performed gay character in Western drama. When you think of it, Sparger is based on Charles Stanley. Charles was a brilliant New Jerseyite. How he came to exist, nobody knows. Talk about media monsters. Charles was 6 foot something, skinny as a rail, hairy as a bear, and played Jean Harlow. Here is Charles in a piece he did about Joe Cino after Joe Cino died. Here is Charles with his very good friend and very frequent collaborator, Deborah Lee, in costume for the Spring Horror Show. Charles is in costume for his Jean Harlow speech, which was written by H.M. Katukas. And here's Charles in Peter Hartman's Vistas of the Heart Revealed, playing a character he called Mona Lisa. I don't know if the character had a name. Charles did not only play travesty roles, he did many kinds of roles, but he was especially known around the Cino for this incredible... Charles didn't play women. I mean, you see he's got a beard. You know, he didn't play women, he played the character. And if it happened that his body was male in this incarnation, well, so what? You know, it was just about like that. I'm sorry, what question was I answering?
Kennedy's Children.
Oh,
Survivors.
got to start over, don't we?
Right.
Kennedy's Children is a series of alternating monologues, musically structured, by 5 survivors of the 60s, one of whom is an off-Broadway actor named Sparger, who is based very closely on Charles Stanley. Charles was an actor who played both male and female roles, often played the female roles with a beard. He was very well known for his Jean Harlow, written by H.M. Katukas. Here he is in costume as Jean Harlow with his friend and frequent collaborator, Deborah Lee then, at the Spring Horror Show. Kennedy's Children, through Sparger, tells the story of a place very much like the Cino, condensed, and mostly the negative side, because the play is about the collapse of the 60s, not about its height. And it's very strange. Sparger is based mostly on Charles Stanley, somewhat on Neil Flanagan. What is odd is when the two of them read it, each thought it was based on the other. Neil said, "You really caught Charles," and Charles Stanley said, "I don't see how you could possibly have done a better portrait of Neil." Oddly enough, neither of them asked about playing it. Either would have been great, of course.
Who played that role?
A man named Don Parker. He was brilliant, brilliant. Okay, I'm going to, if we have 10 more minutes, I'm going to look through here and find pictures and maybe say something about them, and they can edit. Ryan got hold of those costumes and dressed his shows in them for years until he discovered nudity.
This was the first show after Joe's death, right?
Oh, yeah. Take it from this one. The Clown by Clarice Nelson was the show that was in rehearsal when Joe died. It's a frippery fable about a innocent young lutist or lyrist or banjoist or something who comes to this kingdom and is depressed and made sad and corrupt by the end of it. It may be the gayest production ever done in the history of the world because of Michael's beautiful veils and tights and everything for us. We were much criticized for putting it on right after Joe's death. by people who did not understand Joe's Rockette philosophy. Joe called us his Rockettes. Like at Radio City Music Hall, there are the Rockette dancers who put on 8 shows a day and never show a strain. Well, that was us. So, yes, Joe is dead. Yes, we mourn for him. But the show had to go on, and it happened to be a lighthearted show, so we did it lightheartedly. We were also much criticized a very few days later when we went to the Obies dressed like this. But again, you know, that was the Rockette spirit. Joe would not have wanted us to show up drab, sad. Let me see if there's anything. I know you're going to wind up using 10 seconds of this. You know, that's what's so funny. There's all these people whose pictures I could show. But you interviewed or have interviewed most of these people. I mean, not like they need me to puff them. Anything else down here anybody saw that they thought should be in?
What about this picture?
Wait.
The one sitting right there, yeah.
Oh.
Same one? No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Okay. The haunted host came from a lot of places in my head. One of the places it came from was my concern of the way we were all wearing out Joe and using up Joe. We were so young and beautiful, he was so alone and sad. And the play is about someone young and beautiful who tries to take advantage of someone alone and sad. It's not specifically about Joe, but it came from him. This is me as the host telling the guest at the climactic moment of the play, I never wanted to buy you, I wanted to be you. Now, that was the serious side of the play. At the more frivolous moments of it, the host said things that I considered pretty funny, like he says to the boy, how dare you come in here and pull me apart just when I'm about to pull myself together. I could be very happy together. Anything else anybody saw?
Did Joe ever acknowledge that he almost made a mistake in not presenting Haunted House?
Joe rejected the haunted host, only put it on because the other playwrights threatened to go on strike. Said he loved it totally. Near the time of his death, he was talking about making me revive it with, I think, Neil as the host and Steve Davis as the boy. That might have been overcasting Steve a bit, but yes, he liked it very much. I think Joe would have been very happy that the Cino shows have gone on. Lanford's Place, Sam's, mine, Dames at Sea, and shows that didn't start there, like Dreamgirls, or Hair, but that wouldn't exist if it hadn't been for the Cino. I think Joe would have been very happy, and I think he would have been very happy that the host has been done so much. He really liked the character. I don't know if he ever liked me, but he liked the character.
Really? You don't think he ever liked you?
I don't know. He was so beset. There were so many people who wanted Joe's love. You know, he was that kind of person. You wanted him to love you. And not just because he could give you a floor to put a play on. In fact, after a point, there were probably more advantageous floors to put plays on. But it didn't mean what it would have meant if it had been Joe saying, do what you have to do.
Did he keep himself at a distance from people?
No, he was back there making coffee.
Right.
He was out there. If nobody else came in to tear a set down, he was up there tearing the set down. I remember one day, Joe Cino and, I guess I'd better not name him because he doesn't like to be associated with drugs. Joe Cino, another very famous playwright, and I were tearing down sets for a Tom Iron show. And we were out of our minds on speed. And Joe said, okay, we'll come back in and clean all this floor up later. let's go get Mama Douglas pie. So we were around the corner and bought a steaming hot Mama Douglas apple pie, ate it, and he said, now let's go to a movie. And there was a Rock Hudson movie open called Seconds, opening that day. We didn't know anything about it. Rock Hudson, how bad could it be? We went. It is a paranoid movie about people who are old people who are taken in through plastic surgery made young again. But for them to slip into a new life, somebody else has to die and be thought to be them. You know, so it's very, and we came out of there so methadone paranoid, you wouldn't believe it. For days we'd call each other and say, are you okay? Are you okay? No, Joe did not keep himself distant.
Any other pictures you need to?
Oh, Lord, I don't know.